You think you've hit the wall and now's the time to tap out? I'm here to tell you something: you don't get to quit. Not on yourself. The moment you feel that urge to quit, that's when the real fight starts. That's when you have a choice to make. Are you going to let the pain, the fatigue, the frustration swallow you, or are you going to dig deeper than you ever have before and keep pushing? You see, quitting is easy. It's the default. It's the comfortable way out. But nothing great ever came from comfort. You want comfort? Stay where you are. Stay where you are. Stay weak. Stay average. But if you're tired of being a victim of your own excuses, it's time to lock in. Lock in. Because life isn't handing you success on a silver platter. Nobody is coming to pull you out of your struggle. You are the solution. Pain is the gateway to growth. But most people run from it. They hide, they make excuses, they justify their weakness because the truth is pain scares them. But here's the harsh reality: growth doesn't happen when things are easy. Growth happens when you're uncomfortable, when every fiber of your body is screaming for you to stop, when your mind is begging you to quit. That's where the transformation begins. Most people will never understand what it takes to push through that pain, to welcome it like an old friend. They think it's a punishment. They don't realize that pain is the price you pay to level up. If you want to be someone different, if you want to see real change, you've got to learn to live in that discomfort. You've got to learn to thrive in it. When the pain comes, it's a test. Your body and your mind are asking you, how bad do you want it? You've got to decide right there. And then if you're going to let the pain own you, or if you're going to embrace it, feel it, and keep moving forward. Pain is what separates those who stay average from those who become unstoppable. It's easy to show up when it feels good, when you're full of energy, when the sun's shining and life is on your side. But that's not where the growth happens. The growth happens on the bad days, the days when nothing is going your way, when every muscle is sore, every joint aches, and your mind is telling you to quit. Most people will never push to that point. They back off when things get tough. They don't want to suffer. But suffering is a gift. It's the key that unlocks a side of you that you didn't even know existed. The pain is a tool that sharpens you, that refines you. Every time you feel that burn, that exhaustion, that hurt, you're getting stronger. That's what pain is. It's the process of breaking down the weak parts of yourself so that the stronger parts can rise. You've got to understand that pain is temporary. Weakness, quitting, staying in the same place, that lasts forever. Pain is the signal that something is changing, that something is shifting inside you. But you've got to lean into it. Too many people shy away the second it hurts. They get scared. They start doubting themselves. That's when they lose. That's when they get stuck. They don't realize that the pain is actually showing them the path forward. Here's the truth that nobody wants to hear: you are alone in this fight. You keep waiting for someone to come and pull you out of your situation, to motivate you to fix your problems. But let me tell you something: you're wasting your time. Nobody is coming. Not your family, not your friends, not some miracle. You want to change your life. You've got to do it yourself. That's the cold, hard reality. The world doesn't owe you anything. Too many people sit around complaining about how hard life is, how unfair their situation is, like someone's going to hear them and magically make it better. You know what that is? Weakness. It's an excuse to stay where you are. You keep pointing fingers at everything outside yourself, your circumstances, your upbringing, the people around you, but at the end of the day, none of that matters. The only person who can change your life is you. When you finally realize that nobody is coming, that you're alone in this battle, that's when you get your power back. That's when you stop waiting and start taking action. Nobody's going to hold your hand and guide you through the fire. You've got to walk through that fire on your own. You've got to face the heat, the pressure, the pain, and you can't rely on anyone else to do it for you. No one else can put in the work. No one else can carry the weight. You've got to carry it all yourself, and it's heavy, real heavy. You see, we live in a world where people are conditioned to expect help, to rely on others to solve their problems, but that's a lie. That's weakness disguised as comfort. Comfort kills growth. You want to be stronger? You want to change your life? You've got to take ownership of every single thing in it. That means the good, the bad, the ugly, everything is on you. Your success, your failures, your pain, your progress, it's all on you. And it doesn't matter how unfair it feels. Life doesn't care. Life is going to keep throwing punches. And if you're standing around waiting for someone to catch those punches for you, you're going to get knocked out every single time. Nobody's going to step in the ring for you. You've got to fight your own fight. You've got to wake up every day with the understanding that you are your only savior. You think you know what your limits are? You think you've hit the wall? That's your mind playing tricks on you. You haven't even scratched the surface of what you're capable of. That limit you feel is nothing but a lie, a comfortable lie your mind tells you to keep you safe, to keep you from the pain of pushing further. But here's the reality, your limits are way beyond where you think they are. The human body, the human mind, they can endure so much more than you believe. But you'll never know how far you can go until you break through that imaginary line you've drawn for yourself. You see, most people live their whole lives trapped behind a wall of limitations they've built in their own minds. They feel a little discomfort, they get a little tired, and they think, that's it, I'm done. But that's not where it ends. That's where it starts. You've got to stop listening to that weak voice inside that tells you to slow down, to stop, to give up. That voice is the enemy. The moment it starts whispering that you're done, that's the signal you've just reached the edge of your comfort zone. And everything that comes after that is where the real work begins. You want to know how strong you really are? You want to see what you're made of? You've got to push past that point. The pain, the fatigue, the doubt, those are all just signals that you're getting close to something bigger. They're not signs to stop. They're signs that you're on the verge of a breakthrough. Most people never push past that point. They get scared. They think this is as far as I can go, but that's a lie. The real limit is always further. Your body can go further. Your mind can go further, but it's going to hurt. It's going to feel like hell. You've got to accept that if you want to find out what you're truly capable of. The difference between staying the same and becoming someone extraordinary is right there in that moment when you think you've had enough. That's when the real you shows up. That's when you find out whether you're going to stay where you are or level up. You think the greats, the people you admire, became great by stopping when it got hard? Hell no, they pushed right through the point where most people quit, where most people said, I can't do this anymore. That's the separation line between the ordinary and the extraordinary. When your body is screaming, when your lungs are burning, when every step feels like 100 pounds, that's not your limit. That's just the first layer. You've got to push past that, because on the other side of that pain, on the other side of that exhaustion, there's a version of you that you haven't even met yet. Motivation is weak, it's fragile. It comes and goes like the wind, and if you're relying on it to get you through the tough times, you're already setting yourself up to fail. Motivation might get you out of bed on the good days when the sun's shining, everything feels right, but what happens when it's not there? What happens when you wake up tired, sore, and every bone in your body is screaming for you to take it easy? That's where discipline steps in. Discipline is the backbone of everything you do. You see, motivation is nothing more than a feeling. It's temporary and it's unreliable. Feelings change, and if you're driven by feelings, you're going to fall apart the moment life punches you in the face. Life doesn't care if you're motivated. It doesn't care if you're inspired. What separates the strong from the weak is the ability to show up every single day, regardless of how you feel. That's discipline. Discipline is about doing the work whether you want to or not. It's about getting up and grinding when you're dead tired, when you're hurting, when everything inside you is telling you to take a break. Motivation isn't going to carry you through those moments. Discipline is. It's about committing to a standard and holding yourself to it no matter what. Most people wait around for motivation to strike, thinking it's going to magically light a fire under them. That's why they never get anywhere. They're too busy waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect feeling, but that moment never comes. The people who win, the people who achieve greatness, they understand something. Discipline doesn't care about feelings. Discipline shows up when motivation doesn't. You want to get better? You want to be stronger? You want to change your life? Then you need to build a routine and stick to it no matter how you feel. Because your feelings will betray you. They'll tell you to take it easy. They'll tell you you've done enough. But discipline will drag you out of bed when you don't want to move. It'll push you to keep going when every part of you wants to quit. Discipline doesn't need motivation. Discipline is habit. It's waking up at 5 a.m. every day, no excuses. It's showing up to the gym when it's the last thing you want to do. It's getting through that workout, that run, that grind, not because you feel like it, but because it's what you do. Discipline is your foundation, and if you don't have it, you're building on quicksand. Weakness is something most people run from. They hide from it, cover it up, pretend it's not there. But here's the truth: your weakness is your greatest opportunity. It's the one thing standing between you and the person you're supposed to be. You can't become stronger by avoiding it. You've got to face it head on, confront it, and beat it down every single day. Too many people live in denial of their own weaknesses. They act like if they don't acknowledge them, they don't exist. But guess what? Your weakness doesn't go away just because you're too scared to look at it. It's still there and it's still running your life. It's the thing holding you back, keeping you small, making excuses for why you can't move forward. And until you face it, until you bring it out into the light and start working on it, you'll never be free. You know what happens when you ignore your weaknesses? They grow, they get bigger, stronger, and more powerful. And the more you run, the more they chase you down. But the minute you stop running, the minute you turn around and face them, that's when you start to take control. You've got to call yourself out. You've got to get real with yourself about where you're weak, where you're falling short, where you're not showing up. It's not easy, but nothing worth doing is. You see, there's no shame in having weaknesses. Everybody has them. The shame is in refusing to confront. That's not how you grow. Growth happens in the uncomfortable spaces, the places you don't want to go. You want to be better? Then you've got to face what's hardest for you, because that's where the real work is. That's where the real progress is made. When you run from your weaknesses, you're running from yourself.